This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, good afternoon and welcome to Bhumika. Bhumika is joining us today. She's a compassionate counsellor and an ABLE certified career coach. With over 6 years experience in the industry, she has mentored more than 10,000 students and professionals. Ms. Phutela works with a vision to facilitate clarity, obtain direction in their clients and help them break through obstacles that are holding them back from finding a fulfilling career and life. Identification of strengths and blending in the uniqueness of each individual has been her way of approaching her counselling sessions. Bhumika has also conducted over 150 workshops, including webinars for schools, colleges and corporate offices. And today she's going to speak to us about how to understand the varied parameters that will help to evaluate the careers and industries that you are fit for. You can also expect to understand the stages of one's career and what kind of decision making should come in handy to prioritise the next best step for you. Good afternoon and welcome.
Thank you so much, Leona. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for the introduction. And if in case anybody wants to ask any question, we'll be more than happy to take that up. One can ask the question either via the chat option or via raising the hand. Meanwhile, Leona should bring on the questions. Let's make it a very interactive session.
Okay, no problem. So you did say that you were looking at the parameters at an ever-changing time. So what do you mean by an ever-changing time?
Right. So I think after 2020, everything that has been is actually been an ever-changing time only. Like it's been very dynamic. Nobody really knew that COVID would actually come into the picture. Nobody knew that the Ukraine-Russia war would happen. And especially with respect to how the technology innovation is happening, most definitely things are changing. And there are so many outlier events happening now more than ever. Of course, they were there in the history, but now they're happening even more. So with respect to that, this is exactly what we would call is an ever-changing time. And we would not say that, external events are going to be stable or they're going to be the same. So that is what exactly is implied by the ever-changing time.
Okay, so you talk about dynamic industry, and what does that dynamic industry, what does it have to do with our career decisions? Maybe you could tell us a little bit more.
Sure. So as we see that, maybe with the careers that were there 5 years prior to, what they're now, they must have become quite redundant. Versus the career which will be there 5 years down the line might not be the ones that are here right now. So of course, with again like metaverse that has come into the picture, with Web3 that has come into the picture, with blockchain coming into the picture, and with so much dynamism that is there, it is but obvious that our career trajectories are going to look very, very different. The career choices are going to look very, very different. Our lifestyle preferences, our financial preferences are going to look very, very different. So ideally, yes, the career trajectory also keeps changing as and when the time changes. So that is exactly how careers and this changing environment is very correlated.
Okay. So how else should we decide the career trajectory by keeping those external factors in mind? How should we decide our career trajectory? Can't speak today, sorry.
So I think earlier it was, quite, we would be very, very, we'd be sticking on to one thing, that either we'd become a doctor or a lawyer or something of this sort, right? But right now, I think one thing that we really need to take into consideration while, the career trajectories are changing is that we really need to make ourselves a little flexible. If something is working out for us today, tomorrow we might need to upskill or upgrade. Right, so that is exactly where the things or the dynamics with respect to the career would really change, and that is where we say that while we're planning our trajectories, let's plan a plan according to a plan that it might change, that there is a room for error. So that is exactly what we mean by navigating a trajectory in this ever-changing time.
Okay, so we kind of need to keep our options open and keep ready to change with the times, is what you're saying.
Indeed.
here in the schools in Dubai, we have lots of students with lots of different interests. Can they make a career in all of them, or?
Yep. Realistically, no, it's not feasible to make careers in each and everything. If you really have a lot of interests, first it's very ideal that you sit down and actually bifurcate those interests in two different buckets. Bucket number one being that this is something that would always go in my hobby. For example, let's say if there's dancing, there's cooking, there's trekking, so you need to know that, okay, this is what I want to keep it as my hobby, but there will be certain set of interests which you would want to try them out and see if they work out as a career. Now, once you've bifurcated the bucket, once you've automatically eliminated few options, the other set of options is where the actual trial and error begins for you to explore whether that can really be converted in a career or not. And that is where you talk to people in the industry. That is where you do job shadowing. That is where you do bare minimum certifications. That is where you do an internship to actually see if the grass is really greener from the other side, or is it really my interest, can that, or is it something that can really be turned into a career. That is where you start, taking the call. And hence this early age is the beautiful, like, if the younger you are, it's even, more, I think, exploratory. It's more leveraging, that you can actually go ahead and try and test these interests and then see which can be converted into a career.
Okay, so we're talking about that. Is there any way that we can evaluate our progress in this?
Definitely, most definitely. So, ideally, if we have a tracker where we are keeping interests, personality, what are my skills, what are my abilities, what are my likes and my dislikes, and imagine if I keep updating it on a time to time basis. Not that I just made a tracker and I just let it be. Imagine if I keep updating this tracker on a regular basis. And when I say regular, you can revisit it after a month, you can revisit it after maybe 6 months, you can revisit after a week. Let's say certain events have happened and you thought that, oh, this is a skill that was very unidentified. You immediately add it there, right? If you know that you have new interests, you immediately add it there. You understood that you like something and you dislike something, you add it there. So imagine when you have this tracker going on with you for the rest of your life, it's so easy to do all the evaluation of the progress. And also, of course, look into what you were yesterday versus what you are today. That's like the best possible evaluation to do so.
Okay, so we're really just evaluating all the time and constantly seeing and moving with those dynamic times as we progress. Okay. So why is selecting the right subjects or the right course of the utmost importance?
So it's not that if you do end up choosing wrong subjects or wrong stream, so it's not like that you won't be able to change it. But the idea is that if you have chosen the right subjects and right stream, it really sets the fire, it really sets the ball rolling. For example, right now you might not feel that, okay, this is of utmost importance, but I've been meeting a lot of students, but I've also been meeting professionals who do come back to me and then they're like, this isn't working out for us, this isn't what we like. And when I ask them that, okay, what if I ask you to go back and change one thing in your career trajectory, what would that be? One common answer through and through is that, what, I would have changed my subjects back in earlier grades. If I was to be in 10th standard, let's say, I would have actually chosen my subjects in a very appropriate manner. So it is something that really impacts you in the longer run. I have chosen certain subjects and I know deep down it's wrong for me, but I still choose the course basis on the subject. I know the course is wrong for me, but I still choose the job which is, based on that course. I keep going on. So idea is that you keep going on basis on these subjects, and that is where it can really make things look little messy. So instead of treading that path, if you imagine choose the right path in the beginning itself, you end up saving so much time and hopelessness. So that's the whole idea of choosing the right subjects in the beginning itself.
Okay, so just a little bit. So you're saying about choosing the right subjects. Do you think students should choose subjects then that they enjoy more than subjects that they think will be for the right career? So it should be something they enjoy, something they want to do.
Yeah, something which which usually aligns with a lot of things that they would probably want to do. Let's say if I know that I'm not good with numbers, let's say if I know that my scientific aptitude isn't great, and yet I end up choosing physics, chemistry, biology, and I'm actually flunking, then it's actually making me more miserable. Versus if I choose something which aligns with my interest, which aligns with my personality, which aligns with my aptitude, and it also aligns with a lot of things that I possibly want to do in future. So imagine that you're not only getting good grades, but you're also choosing the right paths thereof. So that is what we want to understand.
I know as a maths teacher, which I am, I have a lot of students saying, "Oh, I'm choosing maths. Yeah, I like it, but I just want to keep my options open."
Yeah.
So that's where I was coming from with that question, because a lot of students feel they need to keep their options open for any jobs that they might want, but not necessarily following what their passions are, what they enjoy, what they're actually good at.
Yeah.
So that's why I just wanted to, because helping choose the right subjects,
Yeah. Becomes
obviously,
quite good attention.
yeah, it's very individual and it's very much about what's right for them at the time rather than what might be right for any career. Just leading on from that, should we focus on the course or the college then? Because that's another thing that a lot of students do. I want to do this career and I want to go to this university, but should it be the course or should it be the college? What do you think is?
It's a very common question actually, but then like imagine if I end up going to a good university, but if the course is again something which is completely opposite of who I am, irrespective of the university giving me all sorts of exposure, there will be something or the other which will keep coming back to me, and which will keep triggering me and would keep telling me that there's something which is missing. So if we can go by this approach, I'm not saying don't choose a good university. 100% choose the best of the university, but first evaluate which course are you actually aligning with. Once you've chosen what course is your priority, then for that course, whatever the best universities, then applying those universities, and then aim for those top universities. So first understand what is your core, understand the best possible course according to that, and then choose the best possible universities for that particular course, instead of applying to all top universities for random courses. That can be a very chaotic way to go ahead with things.
Okay. So why do you think career counseling is important?
The career counseling is important literally at every stage, if we see so. I'm recalling my time back in childhood where I was super confused. I always needed a career counselor. When I grew up, so when I was in my higher school, again, I thought that for selecting a course, I would probably need a career counselor. Then I was in my undergraduation where I again felt that for my masters, I would probably need, and even all my friends needed a career counselor. Then my masters, again, a big lot realized that we all needed a career counselor. And then again, when you're growing up, again, there will be a lot of choices that will come your way. And again, you realize that, okay, there's something that we need to work around. And then again, you need career counseling. So, career counseling is one thing which is essential at every step, at it for all age groups through and through. Number one. Number two, why is it important is because it really helps us understand our overall scenario better, and secondly it really helps us understand that what is the industry demanding, what are the careers out there, what are the courses out there, and then helping us connect the dots very very easily. That is where the whole career counseling comes into the picture. So that is also one of the reasons why career counseling is so important.
Yeah, and I suppose it gives us a chance to talk through those options and think about it. You you really think through things a little bit more when you talk it through with someone else rather than to think of it in your own head.
Definitely.
What about another form of uh, career counselling, and a lot of it that comes in? What's the importance of the psychometric evaluation with that?
Right. Right. So let's say if you've come to me and you're taking career counseling session from me, so career counseling isn't very long term. It's very short term. Short term in the sense the sessions aren't very like won't go on for a year. There will be maybe one or two sessions to begin with. Now, it's not feasible for you to tell me about anything and everything about you in that first session, nor it will be feasible for me to gauge anything and everything about you in the first session. But imagine if I already know about your interests, if I already know about your personality. Imagine if I know already about your skills, if I know about your abilities, I know about what motivates you, what are your strengths, what is it that you like and dislike. Imagine if I have that data resting with me, I can start doing my work immediately from the first session itself, right? So that is where your psychometric test really helps you, because there are times that when I might ask a student a question about that, hey, can you tell me about your interests? There's a high chance a student might also not be knowing immediately that what the answer is. Or if I were to ask the student, can you tell me about your strengths? They can be, like maybe this, maybe that, which I already have them in the psychometric, right? So it just helps us build base. It helps me understanding the student or the professional better. It also helps the client understand themselves better. That is why starting the scratch of career counseling is where psychometric comes into the picture. And these are the reasons, these are the very reasons that it becomes so important, so quintessential.
Okay, so overall, we said that obviously careers, times are changing. It's there's dynamic industries. There's lots of career decisions to be made. So it is really important that we understand what we want and how we want to get through in your career, how you want to progress, and the importance of speaking to a career counselor about that. Is there anything else that you think? Students should do or should should be prepared for to make sure they can make the most of their career overall.
Definitely. So, let's say if even back in our times when career counseling was not available, right, where we didn't have resources. So, what would you do? You would actually go to a lot of professionals and ask them what do they exactly do. Or you look into, let's say, we say that I want to become a YouTuber, or I want to become a lawyer, or I want to become a psychologist. The idea is that you actually go to those people and ask them their story, ask them their journey, ask them what their day looks like. If you're actually intrigued about it, instead of you actually jumping into it. So from far off, okay, psychology looks very fascinating, but if I'm actually jumping into the degree straight away, it might or might not turn out to be like a very good thing, right? But if I've already inquired from the particular person in the professional, and how does your day look like? What have you studied back in your undergrad days? What all other the fields besides what you're also pursuing? What are the skill sets required? What are the interests that are required? Do you think that I will be a good fit for this field, considering that I am a certain way, right? So that kind of inquisitiveness, if we hold besides the whole while making that plan, while making that trajectory, that will really help. So that inquisitiveness to know from people in that industry, while at the same time also maybe trying some job shadowing, maybe trying some internship, and of course reading about that career, learning about that career. So I think inquisitiveness is one thing that I would recommend each and every student to actually inculcate from the very beginning, because that will really help them know that whether this is the right field for them.
Okay. Um, I suppose I'll finish off with one. Just what led you to your career and how you got to where you are today? What helped you with your decision making?
Wow, that's a very good
Put you
question
on the spot.
actually.
Sorry.
No, I'd love to answer that. That's been actually a long story. Meanwhile, I'll also plug my laptop in before the battery goes down, because then while I'm talking, I'm usually so engrossed that I just usually miss out the signal. Just give me a moment.
Yeah, no problem.
Right. Uh, so for me, as I told you that there were no resources available back then, but thankfully I was lucky enough to have parents and I'd say teachers probably mentors around me who were quite supportive. But again, one thing was common, that nobody knew about the option. They were supportive, which was good, and it's still working out in my favor. But there was no resources available. Like, even internet wasn't that um, wasn't that amazing. And plus, you can't even look up at things. You can't even talk to so many people. That was such time when the resources were only not available. When I look back, I always was very intrigued by doctors. As a child, I always used to think, when I grow up, I would want to become a doctor. Now, if I look in retrospect, why I always wanted to become a doctor was because of the whole aura that the doctors had, that they used to have like respect. They would help people. I was very intrigued about, what goes into helping people. And then they had, and specifically the doctor I used to consult, he had one personality, one good personality, that I, didn't even need medicines. Like, I would consult him, I would actually be all right, and I wanted to be that person, that you meet that person and you're already healed. You're already, like, actually clear. You're already all right. So I always wanted to become something like that, and in front of me, that was only a doctor. Thankfully, I also loved biology, but very unfortunately, I did not like sciences. Not that I did not like sciences, but I was not good at science. But obvious, you cannot go with the physics, chemistry, biology combination, which is quite essential, at least in India, for you to, get into a medicine career. And I always thought, what, like, I've really missed my chance to become a doctor. I will never be able to be a doctor, or I might not even be able to enter into any helping profession for that matter. So that was there. But if I actually go back a little more, I was a studious kid, but I was more into, like, stage shows. I was more excited by dance. I was more excited by anchoring, by public speaking. So that used to be like very, very happening thing for me. However, I went ahead with commerce later on, with this whole idea that, okay, what else can I do? Like, this is the only option left. But luckily, I enjoyed, studying business studies, accountancy, economics. Math didn't go well with me again. And then I was, like, really wondering, what should I do? I like this, but again, it doesn't naturally, the whole thing doesn't naturally come to me. Then I went ahead with economics honors because I scored very well in economics. Big blunder, because economics and mathematics go very well. And if you're not good at maths, economics can be troublesome. Luckily, yet again, when I was very hopeless that I don't know what to do, I had a combination of three subjects, and that was economics, psychology, and sociology. You call it luck, you call it whatever, but then when I stumbled upon the subject psychology, I didn't even know that a subject like this existed. I didn't even know that it had portions of biology. It would take me to helping career. It would take me to all of those things that I always wanted to become. I was just like, like, now there is no going back. And I rather switched to psychology honors, went ahead with psychology honors, did my MSc in counseling psychology, and then I did approximately 6 to 7 internships, even while I understood that this is my kind of subject. I did 6 to 7 internships to also finally come down to what I'm doing right now. And then after working in different places, then I eventually got commerce in the picture. I got psychology in the picture. I got career counseling in the picture. And I started with this whole venture, which now caters to career counseling, caters to mental health, and caters to also helping students connect with industry experts. Plus, of course, it's an entrepreneurial journey, so now everything is, collected in one bit now.
Oh, that's good. You've managed to combine all your interests in one. And that's the thing. I suppose it is finding what you want to do and making it work for yourself, which is a lot of what our careers are all about. Uh,
Yes.
Making something to make yourself happy and enjoy what you do. Um, Thank you so much for your talk. Is there any questions from anyone else? I think I've asked lots of questions. I'll just open it up and see if there is anyone. Let me see. seeing if any messages come through here. See, I've just got one through, just asking about career counselling and how many sessions do you think most people should have with a career counsellor?
Okay. So usually it starts from the first session where we actually look into, we try and know you better in every possible sense, holistically, financially, family background wise, interest wise, aptitude wise, skills and abilities wise. So the first session is actually just getting to know you better in every possible sense. Once that is done, then the second and the third session can help us come down to certain conclusions, certain decisions. In between, we also, provide you with some homework or the other. So essentially, 2 sessions to 3 sessions are good enough. Minimum 2 and maximum 3 are good enough to get onto something, to at least start with the track.
Okay. Oh, thank you very much for that. You've definitely given us a lot to think about today. Is there anything else you wanted to say to our students or parents, or do you think you've given them all the information they need now?
Pretty much given all the possible information that I knew. However, if there is any question, I'll be more than happy to take that up.
Yeah, no problem. I have nothing through at the moment, but thank you very much for today. And if anything comes through to me, I will pass them on to you.
Done deal, done deal. If somebody wishes to reach out, I think they can let you know, Cleona, or
Yeah.
I'm available on LinkedIn as well. So I can certainly be praised on LinkedIn.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you so much for talking to us today. It's been great to hear what you've had to say.
Lovely talking to you, Cleona. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye now.
Good luck to everyone. Okay.
Thank you.